A young man can see dead people. Sound familiar? Well, this time, Haley Joel Osment is sitting this one out. Star Trek's Anton Yelchin is a small-town fry cook who can see the dead. Only this time, he's trying to stop an apocalyptic battle between good and evil with the help of his girlfriend and the local sheriff. Join Wes and Steve as they review this paranormal suspense comedy, Odd Thomas, directed by Steven Sommers and based on the book by Dean Koontz. And now, it's time for View the Right Thing.
Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
Hey, welcome back to another episode of View the Right Thing.
View the Right Thing with Wes and Steve.
Steve and Wes.
We are cooking.
Are we?
Well, we had a bit of a heat wave.
It is hot outside.
Yeah.
These places are catching on fire.
Gosh, don't remind me. That was scary. When I first observed it, I thought it was a local restaurant on fire.
Oh, no.
But it was just the way I was seeing the smoke made it look a lot closer to my home than it was.
For those that don't know, we live in California.
Southern California.
And it's constantly on fire in the summer.
Pretty much. I mean,
somewhere in Southern California is on fire in the summertime.
Yeah.
So
maybe not all summer, but every summer there is a new
There's
fire.
a big fire, yeah.
Did I say fire?
Fire.
Fire.
So recently there was a fire in Burbank, California.
Heaven on earth.
And I got to tell you, they were on top of it. The fire department.
Yeah.
There were 3 helicopters.
Nice.
Like dousing it, and so we saw it at like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Right about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Big plumes of smoke and stuff.
Yeah.
And then we went and ran. I was with my buddy Chris, and we ran an errand, and then we went and saw a movie.
Yeah.
And we came out of the movie, and there was like not even a haze in the sky from smoke. I mean, it was
really?
like, yeah, it was gone completely.
Whoa.
So it was pretty cool. They were really on it. I guess by like 8 p.m. they said they had 80% of the fire contained, and they lifted the evacuation.
Real nice.
Yeah. So
I heard. I saw a headline that said Big Bang Theory's Johnny Galecki lost a house in the fire.
yeah, his ranch.
No fun.
It was his getaway ranch. So sad and unfortunate, but at least it wasn't like his home with like all of his like everyday personal belongings.
Yeah. I hope there were no animals harmed.
Yeah.
On Johnny Galecki's ranch.
I get the feeling it was like a vacation thing.
I hope so.
So maybe there weren't animals there, unless he pays to have people take care of the animals.
That does happen at some ranches.
Yeah.
Neverland Ranch.
Yeah.
I won't bring that up. I mean, I brought it up, but I'll put it away now. Put away the Neverland Ranch.
So it feels like it's been so long since I've seen you.
I guess so. When was
Oh, I don't know.
our show got hijacked,
Our show did get hijacked.
and then
So then episodes got delayed.
yeah, we survived.
Yeah.
We survived it. Tonight we're going to talk about Odd Thomas.
We will.
Starring Anton Yelchin.
Yep.
That's going to make me sad.
I read a real sad, like,
Oh.
factoid about it that I never thought. I'll talk about when we get to the movie, but I never thought about it before, and it's really just a coincidence kind of thing, but it's still kind of sad to think about. So,
Yeah.
But before we get super sad,
Yeah.
you seen any good trailers or anything?
I have seen some good trailers.
Yeah,
I just watched the trailer for the new Jumanji
I haven't seen that yet.
before I came over. We're talking Jack Black, The Rock,
Yeah, Karen Gillan.
Karen Gillan, who I always want to call Taran Killam from Saturday Night Live. Karen Gillan, a.k.a. Nebula.
It's Amy Pond. It's a Doctor Who thing.
Yeah, I don't
know
watch
you
Doctor Who. Guess what? I don't watch it. I'm sorry.
She's so cute and pouty and full of energy.
Yeah, she's lovely. I can't remember who else is in it, but like a bunch of awesome people are in the new Jumanji trailer. So I'm excited about that. I saw that there is a trailer for the Inhumans, but that's not really a movie.
Is Kevin Hart in Jumanji? Did you say
Kevin
that?
Hart is in Jumanji.
Yeah. There was a whole thing about The Rock pranking him on set.
Oh.
With like fake snakes or spiders or something.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Is he afraid of one or t'other or both?
Yeah, one of them. I can't remember.
That's got to be no fun. I'm glad I'm not afraid of snakes. I mean,
you have a friend named Snake, so you better not be afraid of snakes.
I mean, like, I wouldn't just run up and cuddle a snake if I saw it out on the street. But
right.
I'm glad that I'm not like. I'm
you
glad that like when
snakes.
I see a snake, I don't like freeze up. I would feel weird. I mean, I'm sure anybody feels weird when they freeze up over anything.
Sure. I finally saw the Thor trailer.
Yeah, buddy.
I'm really excited about that movie.
Right?
Yeah. It looks good.
Zeppelin?
Yeah.
That probably sounds terrible in my microphone. I won't do immigrant song in my microphone.
Yeah, that looks like a fun movie. I don't know. There's not really much to say about it. I'm sure everybody's seen it, and
it's going to be great.
I got to see it.
What I really like about it is how it's very clearly moving toward a connecting point with Guardians of the Galaxy. Like it's showing you this, a much crazier version of space and other planets than we usually see Thor in the Thor movies. I think that's pretty exciting.
I'm really curious about how, like, where the end credit sequence from Doctor Strange takes place in that story.
I don't even remember the end credits from Doctor Strange.
So, in Doctor Strange, at the end... I
thought it was just a scene in the one guy's basement.
Spoiler alert. No, there was one before that. So, spoiler alert, if you haven't seen the end credits for Doctor Strange...
Yeah.
Or don't want to hear about it...
Honestly, if you're listening to a show about movies, you better have seen Doctor Strange.
I'm just saying...
And if you haven't, it's on Netflix right now. Watch it.
I'm just saying, they've been warned.
I appreciate it.
They've been warned.
You're warning them. I'm chiding them for not seeing it.
At the end of Doctor Strange in the credits... he's meeting with Thor, and he's like, my job is to protect the Earth from these other realms, and you and your brothers sort of like made a name for himself being a problem for Earth. So why are you here? And he's like, our father's missing, and he goes. So Doctor Strange goes. So as soon as you find your father, you'll go back to Asgard. Ooh. And he says, yeah. And Doctor Strange gets up and he says, well, let's get started.
Yeah, okay.
Implying that Doctor Strange is going to be in Thor.
Right. Ragnarok.
So I recently rewatched Doctor Strange, and Thor has long hair.
Right.
In the scene. So I'm trying to figure out, like, it must take place before or at the beginning of Ragnarok.
Right. Because they even show in the trailer that he's getting his head shaved.
Yeah.
Shaving down Thor's head.
Looks good with the short hair.
Yeah, he looks tough,
I like his helmet that they give him in the trailer.
Yeah, that's cool.
They give him the Thor helmet.
Sort of.
With the wings. They give him he pulls the thing down and the wings are up.
But he had that in Thor 1, didn't he?
I guess. He had some. I don't know. I don't remember. I don't
Maybe
think he
didn't.
I don't think he did. I think you're thinking of Adventures in Babysitting.
I'm always thinking of Adventures in Babysitting, good sir.
Elizabeth Shue.
Nobody gets out of here without singing the blues. Elizabeth Shue, Keith Coogan, Anthony Rapp.
Yeah. You know something?
The others.
I recently...
Bradley Whitford.
Speaking of, I don't know why, thinking of Elizabeth Shue made me think of our last podcast, which was Unforgiven.
Yeah.
But I recently saw...
Say it.
There's a Japanese remake of Unforgiven that I really want to see with, I think, with Ken Watanabe.
Wow.
And it's a mixture of guns and samurai.
Yowza.
And I really want to see it.
Unforgiven with samurai.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
And they do battle in the snow.
Nice.
Yeah.
And Elizabeth Shue made you think of that.
I don't know why.
Well, let's Kevin Bacon it real quick.
I think it was like, I would love to do an episode on Adventures in Babysitting, even though we've seen it already. Like, I'd love to like have an episode where we just talk about Adventures in Babysitting.
Sure. Elizabeth Shue was in The Saint.
I think literally what I just said was all it was.
With Val Kilmer.
With Val Kilmer.
Who was Doc Holliday.
With Kurt Russell.
Tombstone. And he was also Iceman in Top Gun with Tom Cruise, who was in The Last Samurai with Ken Watanabe.
Good job. We
Highway
did it.
to the Danger Zone, bro. So that's how you thought Elizabeth Shue, and it took you to this movie.
I'll go for that. That's a fun way to look at it.
That's what my brain does all the time. Do you want to hear something I did that isn't movie related, but that I think you're going to be very proud of?
Yes.
I, for the second time in my life, but with no churro reward, California Screamed a couple of weeks ago.
Good job.
And it was a whole lot easier than the first time, which makes me think I might actually get used to that ride.
It's a good ride.
It's pretty fun. Pretty fun. There was a lot of screaming. I didn't lose my voice, I'm happy to say. I still haven't ridden Guardians of the Galaxy Breakout. Is that what it's called? Mission Breakout? Operation Breakout?
Mission Breakout, I think.
I still haven't ridden that yet. I'll check it out eventually.
Okay, so I'm going to jump us back over to
movies, yes.
Movie trailers. A couple that I not all look like great movies, but like I want to see.
Yeah.
Happy Death Day.
I haven't seen that.
This looks like a fun movie. It's imagine if Groundhog Day was a slasher film.
Oh my gosh.
So like every time you get murdered, you wake back up at that same moment.
Yikes.
Not at the moment you get killed, but at the beginning of the day. And you got to relive the day over and over and over again.
So it's also a lot like Skylar Caleb's favorite movie, Edge of Tomorrow, Live, Die, Repeat.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
But with a slasher film, that's going to be rad.
Yeah, it looks...
You know I like a new take on a slasher film.
It looks like a lot of fun. It's funny because I saw the trailer and then I watched another movie called Before I Fall.
Before I Fall.
And that has... I'll look up who it has in it. But basically, it's actually also very similar where it's like a Groundhog's Day. This girl is kind of in a group of mean girls at school.
Aww.
And she wakes up on Valentine's Day, and they go through their day, and then they leave a party at the end of the night and get into a car accident, and she wakes back up at the beginning of the day again. And she keeps living the day over and over again. But it's not a scary movie. It's more like more drama, and it's more about like her trying to figure out why she's waking up over and over again. Like, what does she need to do differently that day to make it the correct day? I
hope not get in that car.
She tries that.
And then something kills her anyway.
It's Zoe Deutsch.
Zoe Deutsch.
Yeah.
You know who Zoe Deutsch is, right?
She was in. I don't know what this is.
Everybody Wants Some.
Oh, I watched that recently too.
That's a fun one.
I actually watched them very close to each other. I was like, oh, this is the same girl.
I can't love it as much as Dazed and Confused, but it's a fun one.
She's going to be in The Disaster Artist.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense. She was also in Why Him with James Franco and Bryan Cranston. But you know who she is?
No.
Zoe Deutsch is the daughter of none other than, I'll say it, 80s movie like uber queen Leah Thompson.
Oh, interesting. Back to that Elizabeth Shue, Leah Thompson era there.
Yeah.
Both connected to Back to the Future.
Why can't I remember her character's first name in Back to the Future?
Who?
Leah Thompson's character.
Leah Thompson. Mom. It was Mom.
She was Mom, but I mean, she clearly had a different first name when she was a teenager.
Lorraine Baines.
Lorraine Baines, soon to be Lorraine McFly.
So I saw another trailer, Pitch Perfect 3.
Okay.
I watched the trailer and was like, we don't need a Pitch Perfect 3, but I'm probably still going to watch it and enjoy it.
Yeah, I will say this for the Pitch Perfect movies. I've probably said this before. I have zero respect for a cappella, as it is.
Harmonizing's hard, though. You have to admit that.
That much is true. That part is true. But all they're doing is taking other people's songs, and instead of learning to play instruments and play music, they're just making noise with their mouth, which I've been able to do since I first came out of the womb. So I'm just like, I can do that crap.
Okay.
But I will say this. The Pitch Perfect movies are funny and enjoyable.
Yeah.
And when a movie...
The music is good.
Can entertain... Yeah, they do a great job of it. I just don't respect a cappella.
All right.
But when a movie can be about a subject that I don't respect and still entertain me, that's a pretty good movie.
I do have one bone to pick with the first Pitch Perfect, and that's they stole something from something I saw on YouTube.
Oh, really?
And it felt weird to me that they did it. So Anna Kendrick's character has to audition, and she does the thing with the cup where she taps the cup and flips it over and sings the song. That exact same thing was done on YouTube by some young unknown singer prior to this.
The cups thing has been around for years before Pitch Perfect.
It felt weird to me that she took that thing with that song and...
I mean, she didn't do it.
But somebody else did. The person that did on YouTube.
It's just cups. There have been tons of videos about that.
But it was that specific song sung the exact same way.
I believe it.
It just seemed like, I don't know, it made me feel weird about it.
I can fully understand that. I mean, what can you do?
Yeah, what can you do?
There are no protections in place.
What else?
That sort of thing.
What?
You do something cool on the internet, any movie can come along and steal it from you.
What else? What else is that?
I saw a trailer for A Ghost Story with Casey Affleck.
I've seen the poster. I haven't seen the trailer.
Now, I will point out, I watched it in silence.
Okay.
But what I was looking at seemed like it could be a pretty interesting movie. Political correctness aside, I know Casey Affleck has been in some pretty hot water over the last few years. He's not allowed to talk about it. There's been a settlement paid. There you have it.
Yeah.
But
I got one more.
Looks like an interesting idea. Let me hear it, bro.
I'm really excited about this movie. It comes out at Christmas.
Let me guess.
Yeah. There's a lot of dead air right now.
Star Wars The Last Jedi?
No.
What then?
The Greatest Showman.
With Hugh Jackman.
Yeah, that trailer had me
I haven't seen the
excited.
trailer yet. I'm going to start calling him Hugh Showman.
I like musicals an awful lot.
Mm-hmm.
And I like big, showy musicals, like kind of old school style.
Yeah.
With a lot of fanfare.
Sure.
And passion and a little bit of cheesiness.
Gotcha.
A little over the topness. And this movie looks like it has it in spades.
Nice.
So I'm very excited about that movie. So maybe after this, remind me of what?
Who directs that?
The Greatest Showman? I don't know, but I'll look it up.
It's not Baz Luhrmann?
Oh, it could be. It does look very Luhrmann-y.
Like he'd do, I watched, speaking of showmanship and classic musicals and whatnot, I've sort of worked my way through Hail Caesar 3 times within the last week.
I like that movie.
Love it.
Okay.
Well, it's the Coen Brothers thing, It's like you first see it and you're going to be like, huh? But then, like, after you see it a few more times, then it all starts to click into place. Well, that click has occurred. Fargo has come to an end. Glow is on Netflix. TV shows, ladies and gentlemen. Pick out your favorites and give them a watch.
So, The Greatest Showman this might be a little worrisome, but we'll see. Never directed a thing in his life. Produced one thing. Visual effects guy on 6 films.
Named?
Ned Kelly is probably the biggest one.
Oh, wow. But what's his name? What's the director?
The guy's name is Michael Gracie.
Michael Gracie.
He's got 5 movies coming up, one of which interests me, called The Muppet Man, and it's a biopic about Jim Henson.
Heard of that guy? Cool.
Yeah, I'm a big Muppet fan.
Very cool indeed.
It's funny that it's titled a gag from one of the Muppet films, The Muppet Man. It's where all the Muppets get on top of each other and put a trench coat over them.
Which movie is that in?
That's the Muppets with Jason Segel.
Oh, they make a Muppet Man?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, if I'm a man, then I'm a Muppet of a man. Is it during that?
No, it's they go to convince Piggy to rejoin them.
Oh,
so they have to come up with like a shtick to do it, a way to like get not seen, and so they decide to do Muppet Man.
That's fun. Muppet Man. I got to rewatch that movie.
I can't believe I fell for Muppet Man.
Oh, Muppet Man. Gosh, was that movie 2011?
Something like that.
That's forever ago.
It was forever ago. It's a long time. Oh, boy.
Damn it, time.
All right, so that's trailers.
Time.
Have you seen any actual movies in the theater recently?
What was the last thing I saw in the theater? Let's see. Guardians of the Galaxy 3 times. I came very close to seeing Transformers yesterday, but couldn't make time to do it. I still haven't seen The Mummy.
I saw The Mummy.
Go on.
I think you and I should have a conversation. So, Eve Allen, Vuster from Michigan.
Yes.
Hi,
Eve.
Sent us a message saying, I demand you talk about The Mummy on your next podcast. And
all right.
You haven't seen it, so we can't really talk about it.
I've got a pretty good idea about what happens.
I think it deserves a conversation. I will say this.
Yeah.
It's not as bad as people are making it out to be. It doesn't deserve as low a Rotten Tomatoes score as it got.
Ooh, what was its score?
Like 15% or something. It's the same as Transformers.
Oh, boy.
Some of the criticism I've heard, I think people are making something out of nothing.
Sounds like people.
Yeah.
That's absolutely what people like to do.
But
Jerks.
There's a lot I loved about it. There are many things in it that they did to set up the sort of what they're calling the dark universe.
The dark universe.
And I like all that setup.
Yeah.
I thought it was, and there was a lot of fun moments. I don't want to get into like the problems with it. There are a lot of problems with it. I don't want to get too heavily into that because I think you should see it and we should have a discussion about it. But
fair enough.
So maybe in a future episode
I'll try to check it out.
We can discuss it.
There is a real noisy truck just hanging out.
There's a garbage truck out there just driving around.
Oh, it's a garbage truck.
Up and down the block, just back and forth.
Now, is it true that in the new Mummy movie, The Mummy, is it true that a mummy gets unwrapped and causes trouble for the world?
I don't know if I'd say unwrapped.
Unwrap it and tap it.
I did correctly predict the ending of the film about 5 months ago.
I thought you were going to say 5 minutes into the movie. So
No.
you're saying 5 months before even seeing the movie, you predicted.
I looked at my wife and I said, wouldn't this be interesting?
Oh, yeah, I think I know exactly what you're talking about. Now, is it true that Arnold Vosloo does not make an appearance in this?
I'm not going to say.
Oh, okay. Can I complain about something real quick?
There are a lot of references to Universal films in the movie.
That's cool.
That's all I'll say.
I was listening to another very huge movie podcast, and they were talking about the Brendan Fraser Mummy movies, and somebody referred to Arnold Vosloo, the guy who plays the Mummy, as Billy Zane.
Oh no!
And nobody on this very wildly successful...
Is this a podcast I listen to also?
Possibly. Nobody on that podcast corrected this person and said, no, that's actually not Billy Zane. They look a little alike, and that's definitely not him. It's Arnold Vosloo. Nobody on the show corrected her, and I was very upset. No disrespect to Billy Zane.
She didn't call him Bobo's Billy Zane?
I don't think so. I think she just flat out...
She uses, if it's the podcast I'm thinking of...
Well, this was the special guest.
Oh.
Referred to him as Billy Zane, and nobody corrected her.
What episode was this?
I don't remember anymore.
You know what movie they're talking about?
No.
Oh.
But I just remember somehow they get on the subject of the early Mummy movies, and
so you don't want to say the name of the podcast because you don't want to call them out.
Correct.
Gotcha. Okay.
Correct.
It's too bad. It's a good podcast.
It's a great podcast.
Far better podcast than ours.
It's one of my favorites. Well, it's a whole different ball game that they're working with.
I know. I was listening to it the other day, and I was like, maybe we should do something like this every once in a while, because they're
already doing it.
Well, I've got movies that they're not hitting that they should have hit by now, and if they haven't hit them by now, then they're probably not gonna.
Like Chick Boxer?
Chick Boxers is a prime example. And that was one of the things that
Chick Boxer.
Eve had said to me was that it's so bad it has to be talked about. The Mummy. It's so bad it has to be talked about. I don't think it's that bad, but I mean, I've watched a lot of bad movies, and I think that's the thing is like people who haven't experienced some of those kinds of films, they see a movie like a mainstream movie like The Mummy or whatever, and they go, "That's really bad." It's like, no,
you haven't seen.
That's a mediocre movie,
right?
So, yeah, I mean, we could do Axum. We could do.
Oh God!
I mean, I've got a whole bunch of them. Humanoids from Atlantis.
Nice.
Yeah, I could go on. There's a couple mainstream movies that I can think of that
1994.
Yeah, we could do Fantastic Four.
Yeah. Oh, Axel. God help us.
If you're interested in that, let us know.
Yeah. But it's like my buddy Brian Eric Johnson says, director of the currently available Mobster on iTunes and various other streaming sources. He says, it's really, really hard to make even a bad movie, which means it's really, really, really hard to make a good movie. And, with that in mind, I have a much greater respect for bad movies. Because people are still pouring their hearts into those
Nobody goes out with the intention of making a bad movie.
Well...
Nobody goes out with the intention of doing that. Some people go out with the intention of making something that they think is funny because they think it plays on the tropes of bad films.
But they have no idea what you're talking about.
They're still trying to make a movie that's a good movie.
Absolutely,
it's just good in different terms.
Yeah.
So nobody goes out going, I want to make a movie that's terrible that people don't enjoy. Nobody does that.
Nobody.
But I actually have read a really great book about this father's son wanted to drop out of high school.
So just a guy wanted to drop out of high school?
Yeah. This guy's son.
All right.
And so he was like, I think he was maybe, I'm trying to remember if he was a film critic or not, but he basically was like, I'll tell you what, I'm gonna let you drop out. But you're going to go to my school. I'm going to teach you.
Whoa.
And they spent time watching bad movies.
All right.
And I don't know. It was like a life journey for the two of them. This guy and his son.
Huh.
I'll need to find the.
That was the school watching bad movies.
Yeah. Let me see. I should have a.
Interesting.
It was watching movies in general. It wasn't just bad movies. It was watching all sorts of movies, but they watched a lot of bad movies too.
Cool.
They watched some of the worst movies.
Sounds like a wild story.
Yeah, I'm gonna try and.
I was somewhat raised on bad movies. Shakes the Clown, Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
I might be mixing my books up.
Goofy stuff like that. The Wraith.
I've read a couple different books about people and watching movies.
Yeah.
I might be mixing my books up.
I have to sneeze. Well, that's okay. You didn't even say the title of the book. I have to sneeze and I don't want to do it anymore.
Oh, no. Don't do it in the microphone. Oh, he's doing it. Oh, you guys. Oh, my gosh. Oh, jeez. I'll have to log in because it was a digital book, so I'll have to log in at some point.
A digital book.
Yeah.
I say digital.
Okay.
It's sort of like how people have all of a sudden started saying GIF instead of GIF.
Yeah.
Well, now I'm turning digital to digital.
Okay.
F-U. Lexicon.
Yeah.
Vernacular.
I'll find out the name. I think I'm mixing up two books.
That's okay.
But I'll find out what they are, and we'll talk about them in a little bit. So back to, have you seen any movies in the theater?
Yeah.
So I saw The Mummy. I also finally caught up and saw that new pirate movie, Pirates 5.
Oh yeah. I haven't seen that yet either. Who am I anymore? I'll tell you why. It's because I've been going to film festivals and seeing the likes of The Spearhead Effect and Awaken, The Shadow Man.
Those are good plugs. Those are good plugs.
Thank you. So look for Terrence Malick Presents The Spearhead Effect, and also look for Awaken, The Shadow Man.
Terrence Malick Presents?
Yeah, you didn't hear about that?
No, huh?
Yeah, he got involved with the production, and apparently now it's being called Terrence Malick Presents.
Good for them.
I could be confusing my Terrences, but I think I'm right about this. And even if I'm not going to bother to look it up now, because no other podcast bothers to look things up while they're mid-conversation, even though I think it's perfectly acceptable to do so.
Yeah.
Perfectly acceptable. I was listening to a different podcast. These two ladies were talking. They were convinced, Wes, that Mary Elizabeth Winstead was playing essentially the two main female leads of the new season of Fargo.
Okay.
Now, we got Mary Elizabeth Winstead playing one character. We've got the lovely Carrie Coon playing another character. These girls were certain that both characters were played by Mary Elizabeth Winstead.
Do they look a lot alike?
They don't look dissimilar, but they don't look terribly alike. I mean, if you were to put them right next to each other, you'd believe they could be sisters or certainly cousins or something like that.
Yeah.
But they don't look exactly alike by any means. But yeah, here were these girls on this great podcast, certain that it was Mary Elizabeth Winstead, and they didn't bother to correct themselves. And the producer looked it up on his phone and chimed in. And I was just like, just look it up while you're talking. I do it all the time. Try to catch me looking something up while I'm mid-sentence. You'll never catch it. Go back and listen to every episode of View the Right Thing. You'll never hear me look something up unless I announce that I'm looking something up.
Okay. So back to movies in the theater.
We're talking movies. We're talking lookalikes. We're talking trailers. We're talking Awaken the Shadow Man.
Do you want me to talk about Pirates of the Caribbean, or do you want to talk about a movie you saw in the theater?
Well, I'm just going to say, keep your eyes peeled for Spearhead Effect and for Awaken the Shadow Man.
Awaken the Shadow Man is...
pretty sure they're both going to be streaming soonsies.
Shadow Man's coming out in July. In theaters.
Yeah, baby.
At least in California.
Yeah, baby. Buddy. I'm very excited. They can fix us. They fix everything. They can fix us. They fix everything.
Is that in the movie? I haven't seen it.
They fix everything.
Don't run it.
They can fix us. They fix everything.
Don't run the movie
I'm
for me.
scaring the listener with my whisper. What other movies have I seen in the theater? I feel like there was something I just fracking went to, and now I can't remember what it was. I've definitely mentioned seeing Power Rangers. That was months ago.
Film Club? Okay, I am mixing two books up.
Oh, yeah.
So so real quick.
Yeah.
What did you... I didn't hear what you said at all.
That's all right, man.
I apologize.
I'm me, and I don't even hear what I say.
I'm a terrible human being. So there's a book on a guy's... He spends a year just watching bad movies.
Whoa.
He's trying to find the worst movie of all time.
Wow.
It's called Showgirls, Teen Wolves, and Astro Zombies.
Go on.
And then there's another book called The Film Club. And it was a New York Times editor's choice.
Oh.
And I'll tell you what that was about here in just a moment. The film... I'm typing in The Film Club.
The Film Club.
Oops, there it is.
That sounds pretty cool.
Memoir of himself letting his teenage son drop out of high school under the stipulation that he must watch 3 films a week. But he doesn't just make him watch 3 films a week. He makes him watch 3 specific films each week.
All right.
And they have to discuss them.
All right.
So the kid learns a lot about like the world and life through film.
Pretty kick-a.
It's a really cool thing that happened.
So he makes him watch like Dutch.
Totally.
Meatballs 1.
No.
Uncle Buck.
None of that happened.
Those movies teach you about life, dude.
He made him watch...
Career opportunities.
Movies included Citizen Kane, Showgirls, Pulp Fiction, The Last Tango in Paris, The 400 Blows, Ran, Singing in the Rain, The Exorcist, and Basic Instinct.
Just those movies?
No. Those are some of the movies.
Oh, okay. All right. I'll allow it.
It's a really neat story. But if you want to if you want to read the book about the bad movies, then you want to read Showgirls, Teen Wolves, and Astro Zombies.
I'll check that out. Showgirls, Teen Wolves, and Astro Zombies. And the other one was called?
Film Club. The Film Club.
The Film Club.
The
I like it.
Film Club.
I like it a lot. What were we talking about?
Theater movies. Oh my gosh, you are all over the map today.
Look, I've had 1 cup of coffee. I've been up since 4 a.m.
Uh-huh.
I've probably had 2 cups of coffee.
So, you haven't seen anything else? Oh, the dog's growling.
I saw those 2 festival movies. I saw another huge movie.
Yeah?
But let's just say that's already been discussed on this show.
Okay, gotcha.
And...
Whoa,
Come
Walt.
on.
Walt is like, get off the pot, Steve.
I don't know. It'll occur to me later if I have.
All right, well, so do you want to hear my thoughts on Pirates or not?
Of course.
I mean, I can skip it if you want.
Of course I want to hear it. I
I
had a romantic run-in with pirates recently.
Okay.
Well, it wasn't romantic at all.
Do you want to explore that instead?
I think I already told the story. Tell me about
With
Pirates of the
Kurt Russell?
Caribbean.
Is that your romantic?
Dead Men Tell No Tales. It was.
Yeah.
I fell in love with life that day.
Yeah. So,
Life has accepted my proposal.
Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Men Tell No Tales
Starring Javier Bardem.
is
John Depp.
not a good movie.
No?
I think that it was made more competently than The Mummy, but I think The Mummy is a more enjoyable film.
All right.
That pirate movie is so confused about what plot it should be about. Like, it starts with one thing and ends with that thing, but that's not really what the movie's about. And then they kind of like throw in a quote-unquote twist that you see coming from a mile away that's revealed as if it's a twist. Kind of like in the last third of the film, and then you're like, okay, so is the movie about this? And it just is all over the place. But ultimately, it's like Pirates of the Caribbean, the greatest hits. They kind of go, hey, remember that time we did this? And then they shove a thing that's really similar in your face. And then you go a little further, and they're like, hey, remember when we did this? And then they shove a thing that's really similar into your face. I don't know. It's just, it wasn't very interesting.
Oh, that's a shame.
It felt like it had been done a bunch. There were 2 dick jokes in like the first 15 minutes, one of which was also a gay joke.
Really?
Yeah.
In Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah.
Jokes about the human peen.
I mean, there was more. I'm just saying in the first 15 minutes there were 2.
That's surprising.
And a gay joke is like kind of passe, you know? It's like,
yeah,
we've evolved.
I sure hope so.
I don't know.
But then again, look at what happened in November and January.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, so
God deliver us.
Pirates of the Caribbean 5.
Curse
Skipped
of the
this
Dead
one.
Man's Pearl. End. Curse of the Dead Man's Pearl End. No, wait. We got Curse of the Black Pearl.
Yeah.
Dead Man's Chest.
Yep.
At World's End. No.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Stranger Tides.
Stranger Tides. Dead Men Tell No Tales. Wait a minute. Pirates 3 was called At World's End.
Yep. Because they go to the end of the world.
And now the Shaun of the Dead Guy's most recent movie is The World's End. That's why I'm getting so confused. All right. So we got Pirates of the Caribbean, Shaun of the Dead. I won't continue with that joke.
Nope.
You already get it. And you're saying Part 5 is just a rehash of a bunch of other... But no Keira Knightley. Oh! Wes is being very silent and shifting his eyes from side to side. So what you're saying is possible Keira Knightley?
I'm not saying anything at all. I'm saying you don't need to go see this movie.
Fair enough.
And sadly, they imply another film.
Is it going to be called Steve Moulton sees Kurt Russell in line for Pirates of the Caribbean?
I think it's Pirates of the Caribbean. Please God, stop.
Wow. Yo, how many times do they say or sing yo ho in the movie?
I don't think they did. They might have once. I don't think they did.
No. When I auditioned for Pirates 3, we had to form a big shirtless slow marching death march line around a room.
Yeah. And
sing that song that they all sing at the beginning when everybody's about to be hanged.
I actually have a question about the movie, if anybody can answer it. It might be a small spoiler.
Yeah.
It's in one of the trailers, but I'm going to say it's still a spoiler because if
Is
people
that
are
question where to gold at?
No.
Okay.
Because the reason why I say it's a spoiler is because I go out of my way to not watch trailers typically, unless I happen to see them in the theater. So if other people haven't watched the trailer, this would be a spoiler. So spoiler alert, here's the question. There is a young Jack Sparrow in the film.
All right.
I was unclear if it was CG special effectsy stuff or if they got somebody that looked kind of like Johnny Depp, a young Johnny Depp, to be in the film. It was CG-ish enough that I was maybe it was a combination of the two. I don't know.
Well, look at it this way. What did we see in Disney's Rogue One, A Star Wars Story?
Young kid. Right.
What did we see in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2?
Yes.
So you're probably on the right track.
Yeah, maybe.
The sailor said, Brandy, you're a fine girl. I was really hoping for some backup vocals right there.
Mm-mm.
You're a fine girl.
Having seen Guardians a second time now,
such a fine girl.
I am more confident than ever that I think they made a huge mistake in the soundtrack.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you're not alone. It's
that first one was so good.
Yeah, this one's just they're great songs, but it's a lot of just really soft rock, yacht rock kind of stuff.
They repeat songs more in the second one as well. Brandy plays 3 times.
I remember hearing Brandy twice. I don't remember anything else repeating though.
Brandy's 3 times. So he listens. So it's in the car scene.
Right.
Star-Lord listens to it earlier in the film, and then he listens to it again when his father talks to him.
I don't remember it earlier in the film other than the car scene.
Yeah, when he's by himself, he's listening to it.
You're a fine girl.
There's a second song too that repeats itself. When they walk out of the car in the ship in slow motion to go off with Ego.
Oh yeah, that's the Chain by Fleetwood Mac.
Yeah, so that comes back again.
But see, I'm okay with that one coming back.
It's just
because of how it was used.
Repetitive.
And if you don't love me now, right?
The movie's full of moments that I thought were really good, but
still hear you saying you will never break up the chain.
I just don't think the movie as a whole was as good as, I don't know.
But it can't be as good as part 1.
No, as good as I think people I think it got an 80 or 90 something.
Yeah, it was fine.
I don't think it was that good. I think it's better than Mummy, but I was thinking about it yesterday. I was like, this might be one of my least favorite of the Marvel films.
Whoa.
I'm just not interested in it. I watched it twice now, and I was kind of bored through half the film. And I was just and I kind of felt that way the first time too. I'm glad I saw it. I had fun. And there's some fun moments, but
Baby Groot.
Baby Groot's cool, but
Rocket working with Yondu.
It was kind of
700 space jumps.
I would have liked the movie to have had a slightly more serious tone. The first one had a more serious tone than the second one. The second one was silly. And the stuff that is really good in it is all the serious stuff. The ending is so freaking good.
Yeah.
And the payoff is good.
Sure.
But only because they built serious... all of those scenes that apply to that are serious.
Yeah.
But they're the minority in the film.
For sure. Yeah.
I don't know.
It's a little too cute.
Yep.
As adorable as Baby Groot is, There's just a little too much of them.
Like, people love dancing Baby Groot at the end of Guardians of the Galaxy. Let's just have him littered all over this movie.
There was a lot of that. Yeah, but, you know...
Trash Panda's still funny, though.
That's funny, but it can't be as good as Guardians 1. So
it's not, I'm not comparing it to Guardians 1.
They might as well just have even more fun with it, I guess, is what I'm saying.
I could just as easily watch Iron Man 3. I feel the same way about Guardians 2 as I do Iron Man 3. Like, there are lots of pieces that I like about it. I think the plot went off track.
I don't remember the plot of Iron Man 3.
There's the Mandarin stuff.
Oh, yeah!
And it was too silly. Again, as another one of those Marvel films that was too silly.
Got pretty silly.
That's Shane Black's style, though. And that's James Gunn's style.
Yeah.
Is to be silly. I just not my favorite.
I can't knock anything for being silly. I mean, I'm Steve Moulton, baby.
You know what I hear is amazing?
What? Spider-Man Homecoming.
Spider-Man Homecoming. I have been told on multiple accounts.
Yeah.
It is like watching the comic book come to life.
Get out of here.
They say it's like they finally like have gotten a grasp of what it is that makes Spider-Man's world Spider-Man's world. So I'm really excited for it because you know me, I got 3 Spider-Man books sitting next to me right now. Like I got 3 right there, over there too. 3 big ones up there.
Cool.
So you know I'm a big fan.
Did you hear?
I have a jacket. I got a Spider-Man jacket that I'm talking about wearing to the movie, even though it's a million degrees outside.
It's gonna be hot. It's gonna be hot, bro, when Spider-Man gets here.
So it's a leather Spider-Man jacket. I own a leather Spider-Man jacket.
What kind of leather? What animal?
I don't know. Probably cow or pig.
Interesting.
It's nice. I love it.
Did they use pig leather for clothing?
Oh, yeah. A lot of suede is pig leather.
Oh, yeah, of course. All right. I stand re-educated.
Pig leather tends to be a little pricklier and a much wider grain.
All right.
The pebbling is much wider.
Pig leather. Well, there you have it, folks.
Sheep leather is a very small grain.
Yeah.
Very soft.
Should we talk about Odd Thomas?
I guess.
I feel like we've been going at least an hour now without talking about the movie that this episode is dedicated to.
Well, so here's the thing. When we have a movie where there's not going to be a ton for us to talk about, I kind of try to weigh a little heavier on theatrical stuff and movie trailers.
I can understand that.
So the podcast is still a movie podcast.
Fair point. Fair point.
So we saw Odd Thomas.
And we're about to explain it to you. I might need to grab some water real fast.
Oh, no, not the water.
My head is just like drying out all of a sudden.
Oh, no.
What's cool is, though, my microphone comes with me.
Yeah, that's pretty good. The viewers are going to get to hear the...
we can talk, baby.
The sound of the water hitting your cup in the other room.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to just go ahead and...
Vamp a little, Wes.
Vamp a little. Well, you can talk in there.
Yeah. Talk over the sound of the water going into my cup.
Makes me want to go to the bathroom. Yeah, there
Whoa.
it is. So,
I can't hear what Wes is saying.
Oh, I'm just
But this
getting
water's
ready
going to
for
be
Odd
delicious.
Thomas.
It's going to be delicious.
Odd Thomas, starring Anton Yelchin.
Fruit. Are you talking about Odd Thomas?
Yeah, and
yeah.
Stormy Llewellyn, played by Addison Timlin,
Mm-hmm.
who's really got kind of a weird presence. I don't think it's just the character. I think it's her. Like, she's just got kind of a real interesting, kind of weird presence on screen.
Interesting, kind of weird, you say.
Yeah. Who else was in this movie?
I don't understand.
Willem Dafoe was in this movie.
Willem Dafoe, the original Green Goblin.
This woman that I've seen and stuff, but I can't say her name.
That is...
Gugu.
Hang on. Gugu Mbatha-Raw.
Yeah.
Isn't she also on Orange is the New Black?
No, I don't think so.
No, she is in my
racist?
favorite episode of
She's in Black Mirror. Yeah. Black Mirror, she was in Undercovers. That was a J.J. Abrams heist show that failed after an episode.
I don't remember that at all.
But she was in Concussion and Free State of Jones. She was Plumette in Beauty and the Beast.
Oh, cool.
Viewsters might have recognized her as Plumette.
Oh, she was in some Doctor Who in 2007.
Yeah, Doctor Who. Tish. She was Tish.
She was in Closure.
So let's talk about the elephant in the room with Odd Thomas. And that is, it is directed by Stephen Sommers.
And written by, well, sort of written by
Dean Koontz. It's based on a Dean Koontz book.
It's based on a Dean Koontz book, but didn't Sommers also write the script for this? Didn't he adapt it?
Yeah, yes, he did. He wrote the screenplay. So we got a connection to the Mummy. So that's interesting.
Mummy connection.
His reliance on cheap CG and camera tricks
and guys crawling on walls and ceilings.
Yeah. Camera tricks are like his thing, right? Like things, mimicking reality is sort of Stephen Sommers' thing.
All right.
And while I like the visual flair, it doesn't really work that well.
No,
I don't think so. I mean, did you?
No.
You didn't seem like you liked the movie very much.
I wanted to. It stars Anton Yelchin.
Yeah.
May he rest in peace. We actually just crossed that date a little while ago.
Do we want to get the sad bit of trivia out of the way?
Which sad bit? I mean,
so
everybody knows.
So in the film, there's the Bodax can make things happen.
Oh yeah.
And he almost gets hit by a car.
Oh damn, that's right.
Yeah.
I wasn't even thinking about that. Anyway, Anton, rest in peace, sweet prince. Man,
what a crying shame. I think he was going to be a really special actor. Yeah. It's very rare that child actors grow up and they keep some sort of sense of sanity and decorum.
Yeah.
And he really felt like he was going to, and he was going to do really great things.
He'd already done plenty of great things.
Yeah, but it felt like he had I could have seen this kid becoming an Oscar winner.
Yeah.
He
got to play young Chekhov. He got to play young Kyle Reese.
Yeah. He was in movies with Morgan Freeman and Anthony Hopkins and
Hearts in Atlantis. How do I forget Hearts in Atlantis? Holy smokes. Yeah. And he's good in this.
He's very good.
It's just the whole pie coming together just is like...
Addison Timlin is good also, but they're almost not good together.
No?
They're almost so quippy. Like you made this comment that they were too hip or whatever.
A little bit of that, but it's also just their characters are constantly talking, and I don't think that's their fault.
Well, it's not just they're constantly talking, but they're also constantly talking in hip lingo.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's almost like they were characters from the 40s.
And that makes a little bit of sense.
Brought into the modern era.
Yeah.
But it doesn't feel real.
Right.
It doesn't feel real in the setting.
Right. It's kind of like the film noir-y thing, having their own lingo to work with. And this is, in a way, a detective movie.
Yeah.
So there's a bit of that, but it doesn't come together well enough.
Well, it's not like a movie like
unnoticed.
It's not like a movie like Brick, where everybody is speaking in noir speak.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Where these two are kind of the only two people that speak that way.
Yes.
And it's almost like they're trying so hard to be, like you said, constantly talking and constantly quippy.
Yeah.
That you see everything as it's coming, like the whole thing about there aren't heads in the freezer, are there? Well, it turns out later on there's a head in the freezer. It's all that kind of silly dialogue ends up that it's coming.
Yeah.
And it creates this sense, this ingenuine thing, I think, between them.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
But they're both good in their own right.
For sure.
And I kind of love the end of the film.
I have mixed feelings about it.
Yeah, I mean, I have mixed feelings, but that's why I love it.
I don't think I love it.
I like a good tragedy. What's
tragic is how hardcore they went to setting this thing up for sequels. And it just wasn't a great enough movie for anybody to want sequels of it, I don't think.
They cut a bunch of stuff out, too, out of the books. Like, but they had some references, which is, at least they referenced it. You know that he has a ghost friend who's, like, always at his side?
Oh, really?
And they referenced it with a cardboard cutout in his room. Did you see the cardboard cutout in his apartment?
I remember seeing a cardboard cutout. I can't remember who it is.
Remember an Elvis cardboard cutout?
Oh.
His buddy is the ghost of Elvis in the books.
Wow, like in the song.
Okay.
Saw the ghost of Elvis, right?
Sure.
Down on Union Avenue.
So I guess they cut him out. They cut Elvis out.
That makes sense.
They cut out some stuff with his parents. And I think it's interesting because I think these are things that maybe could have like helped flesh out the characters a little bit more. That's the other thing is the characters, as much as I really enjoy the film, the characters, you never really, there's no building.
Yeah, a little bit.
What building there is through dialogue of like Anton Yelchin telling you, this is who I am. This is who Stormy is. This is who the police chief is.
Yeah, there's almost an endless voiceover narration happening, which gets to be overwhelming.
Yeah. Rather than showing us through the plot and through how the characters act, it's like, oh, she's the coolest girl and da-da-da-da, and she, you know, she loves me. It's like, you don't have to tell us that she loves you and that you love her. Show us that you guys love each other. Like, you don't have to, like, have dialogue about it.
It's funny that you say they cut a lot of stuff out, and yet so much stuff is crammed into this movie.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think they I'm getting a box.
Oh!
Somebody's coming up here with a box.
Living in a cardboard box. Living in a box. You do that, I'll sing Walking in Memphis.
Yeah.
Followed him up to the gates of Graceland.
So, I just told the guy to just leave the box there. You know, they cut out some stuff with, like, his parents. They never really explain. He talks about how his mother was crazy and tried to, I think, stab his father with a knife or something.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, his mom played by the scorchingly hot Leonore Varela.
Okay. Well, it's sort of implied that maybe she sees things, and because he sees things, like, he sees dead people, like,
all the time.
Maybe there's some sort of connection there, but I guess in the book there isn't. She's just crazy.
Yeah.
And neither of her parents have the same gift.
Maybe her crazy is what gave him his gift.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know either. We may never find out. Unless we read other Odd Thomas books. I believe there are several, right? I think there are.
Sure. You know, there's this other thing in the movie where it sort of feels like the town is supposed to be a character.
Yes.
Right? Like you have like the grill, you have the ice cream shop, you have the bowling alley.
Sure.
You have like a town square outside the grill that, like, he sees the Bodax and he talks to the Gugu.
Yeah.
And there's all these people like there's townspeople like wandering around and stuff.
Thousands of them.
And the mall is crazy, but so it just seems like they wanted to build this world where this small town exists. But you never really get a feel for who the character of the town is.
Yeah.
Because they're so busy doing stuff. I'm not sure how you change the plot to like tell everything in one film. I don't know if maybe you make it longer and you have some scenes with some downtime to just breathe.
There was no downtime in this movie.
There's no shoe leather in this film. Like, you know, like shoe leather is sort of like the pacing of things back and forth where you're kind of going like, cut that out. We don't need so much walking around. We need to just get to the heart of it. This movie has none of it.
Yeah.
And then the mall with thousands and thousands of people.
Right.
It's like, how are there this many people?
Where everybody knows each other.
Yeah. How does everybody know each other if there's this many people in the town? It was just kind of crazy.
And the mall was just always packed. Like in every scene in the mall, it was just super packed full of people.
Yeah.
And it's like, why aren't these people at work? Why are they all in the food court right now? Odd Thomas.
But you know who I loved in the film?
Willem Dafoe.
Willem Dafoe and the woman that played his wife in the film.
Oh, I thought he did play his wife.
I thought those two were really great together. Even though she's not like really present in the film a whole lot, they had sort of like a funny running gag about him trying to woo his wife. It was date night, and they kept getting interrupted, which I thought worked.
What was his wife's character name?
I don't know, Mrs. Police Chief.
Mrs. Police Chief. Right under him on IMDb is a character named Levana, played by Carmen Corley, but that could be anybody.
It could be anybody.
Who played Defoe's wife?
What was his character's name?
He was Chief Wyatt Porter.
So is there another Porter somewhere in here?
Not that I can see just yet. Wop bop ba-doo-doo bop.
Viola Peabody.
Ba-doo-doo-da-dee-bop.
Could Penny. I was going to say maybe Levana was the girlfriend of the cop that gets killed. But I think that's that might be her. So there's Penny. Penny Callisto is the first ghost he sees, right?
Right.
So maybe Levana, or maybe Levana is one of the. I don't know. It's all. Oh, Carla Porter. How about that? Laurel Harris. That's her.
That's her?
That's her. Laurel Harris. I thought her and Willem Dafoe were good. Oh, she's in Scout's Guide to the Zombie Apocalypse.
Oh, I've seen that movie.
But uncredited, even though she has a character name, first and last.
Why would she be uncredited?
Yeah, that's weird.
What on earth? I don't remember her being in Scout's Guide to the Zombie Apocalypse.
Well, maybe that's why she's uncredited.
Yeah, maybe she got cut out, and so they just left her uncredited. Oh, Laurel. Why is my phone acting like I'm not on your Wi-Fi?
I don't know, man. I don't know, buddy.
You know a movie I did watch?
She is right there. What a heartbreaking ending, huh?
Yeah, very sad.
I know you're about to talk about a movie you watched. I derailed you back to.
No, we're still in Odd Thomas. We should keep it here for another minute. The ending will break your effing heart. It doesn't help that I have a friend who looks quite a bit like Addison Timlin. And I remember when I first saw her in...
Spoiler alert, everyone.
That I have a friend who looks like Addison Timlin?
Well, no, because you said break your heart.
Well, they're supposed to have watched the movie if they're listening anyway. I remember when we first saw her in the requel to The Town That Dreaded Sundown. And I thought to myself, oh my gosh, is that so-and-so?
Yeah.
And I was immediately proven wrong, but that's how similar they look.
That's right. This is our second Addison Timlin movie.
Heck yeah, it is. If you're listening and you haven't watched or heard our episode about The Town That Dreaded Sundown, check out both, because that is an entertaining and scary movie.
I liked it a lot.
Yeah.
I thought there was a lot to talk about and a lot going on with that film.
Yeah. And it kind of makes the original better.
Yeah, I agree.
Because the original, it's scary and stuff, but horror movies didn't really know what they were doing back then, and so it's very silly at times.
Yeah.
But now with this newer movie about somebody copying the old original murders based on a true story, it actually makes the original version even better now, and that's pretty freaking cool, if you ask me. It's pretty rare that a movie gets to do that,
I agree.
Although some other movie just did that. Alien Covenant, Wes. That's the movie I've seen in theaters.
I saw that recently.
Forgetting about. So did I.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about Alien
Covenant? We don't have to go too deep into it, but a lot of people say Alien Covenant retroactively makes Prometheus better. And I think that's true.
Let's have a little Alien Covenant conversation as soon as we wrap up Odd Thomas. Anything else that struck you about this film? I know we didn't really talk about the plot very much. Basically, he sees dead people and he solves crimes.
Right, like a ghost will come to him that's been freshly murdered, and they'll sort of try to lead him to the murderer, and so then he tries to help the police catch the murderer, but them being the police, they've got to have bookable, convictable evidence that's going to hold up in court. So they sort of have to fib and fudge in the whole fact that these cases are pretty much being solved by, a young adult who sees ghosts. And, so he's trying to work together with the police to help them get the evidence they need when he knows flat out that this is the guilty party.
Yeah.
But even that, I mean, that is like shavings off a carrot in this overwhelmingly large salad of a movie that's just a little too much.
It's very similar to The Frighteners.
I love The Frighteners.
I love The Frighteners too.
Although I haven't watched it in probably 15 years.
I think
when a man's jawbone drops off,
it's
time to reassess the situation.
Frighteners might
is
be
awesome.
Definitely my favorite, but might actually be, and people are going to freak out, the best Peter Jackson film.
Wow. Wait a minute, though.
Yeah.
Didn't he do Rise of the Planet of the Apes?
Peter Jackson?
I thought he directed that.
He did Kong.
You bet he did. Well, he did King Kong 2005.
Yeah.
I thought he directed Rise of the Planet of the Apes.
I don't think so, but I wouldn't
Is that a dream I had?
I wouldn't give Rise of the Planet of the Apes over Frighteners. Rise.
They're both pretty cool. But yeah, Frighteners is cool. If you consider yourself a movie fan,
Rupert Wyatt.
And you have not... I don't know, man. Look, I don't get a lot of sleep, okay? Facts go into my head. And
you were like, it's got Andy Serkis in it, so it's got to be Peter Jackson.
That's probably exactly what I was thinking without even realizing I was thinking it. Yeah, Frighteners. Check it out.
This is the
not
as good version of the Frighteners. I mean, it's a really similar idea where a guy can see ghosts and he solves the crimes.
Right.
And there's sort of a serial killing thing going on, which there sort of is in Odd Thomas.
Yeah.
You're trying to avert some big catastrophe.
Yeah. Oh, Frighteners. Mwah. Although in
I
Frighteners,
miss Michael J. Fox.
Yeah. I saw an unfortunate headline the other day saying that his health has kind of taken a turn for the worse.
That sucks.
That does, man. Michael J. Fox, we're pulling for you. We love you. Should we step into Alien Covenant?
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, though, like, would you recommend this movie to people? Would you say give it a... See, I enjoyed it enough. I enjoyed it enough that I could say, like, it's a fun movie. It's not like I wouldn't put it up there ahead of some other things, but if, you don't have anything to watch, it's on Netflix.
I feel like it was just so noisy in my brain all the time.
It's funny, I looked up some reviews. It got, I think, 2 stars from RogerEbert.com.
Yeah.
And the comment section from that review were almost just overwhelmingly against the reviewer.
Wow, really?
Yeah. People really seem to really like the film. That's another reason why I feel like I could recommend it to people.
All right.
Is because I think generally it's not the greatest film, but it's fun enough. I enjoy it much more than Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Men Tell No Tales.
That's cool. Yeah, I don't hate it.
I enjoyed it more than The Mummy.
Sure, I can understand that. But
not more than Stephen Sommers' The Mummy.
Right.
But more than The Mummy, Tomb of the Emperor Dragon.
Wasn't it Curse of the Dragon Emperor?
I don't know. One of those. I thought it was Tomb of the Emperor Dragon.
The one where all of a sudden Brendan Fraser's kid is as old as he is.
And Maria Bello plays Rachel Weisz's character.
Oh, yeah. And Jet Li is the new mummy.
And that's the thing. I love Tomb of the Dragon Emperor.
Tomb of the Dragon Emperor.
That's what I said. I said Emperor Dragon.
I think you said like Crypt.
No, I said Tomb.
You said Crypt Keeper Showtime on Showtime.
But that one was directed by Rob Cohen, who's an even worse director. And man, that guy's a bad director.
I didn't hear a word you just said.
Yeah, I'm not a Rob Cohen fan. So, anyways, yeah. If you didn't watch it,
you got
nothing better to do. Give it a shot.
And it's not a very long movie. That part's nice.
Hour and a half, roughly.
Yeah, but I mean, it's like, I've sat through Zodiac Director's Cut probably 7 or 8 times in my life, front to back, 2 hours and 40-ish minutes, and I'll do it again probably this year. But I can't see myself sitting down for Odd Thomas again anytime soon.
I bet I've seen Odd Thomas 3 times now.
Yeah?
Yeah.
All right.
I did it. You could do it.
Did you hear what they're doing to try to reboot it?
Odd Thomas?
Yeah. But
are they really?
They're doing a cloaked reboot called Even Timothy.
The Even Life of Timothy Green.
He's going to be like, my name's Even Timothy.
97 minutes. So
Ghosts can see
about
me.
An hour and a half. A little more.
That's pretty good. Pretty good. So a movie I saw that wasn't in theaters but is new and is white hot is Oh Hello.
So here's the thing. I have a hard time with those characters.
It is definitely
good for
taste.
Really small bits. Like they're good for 2 minutes. I can't imagine watching a whole thing about them.
An entire 2-hour Broadway play.
Is it really 2 hours? Ugh, I don't think I could do it.
I don't know how long it is, but
are they those characters
long.
The whole time?
Oh yeah, and I love it.
I don't think I could do it.
Oh hello.
Do they do too much tuna?
I'm not going to tell you.
Too much tuna. It's funny.
Oh, that's too much tuna. Well, it's sort of what Oh Hello is also doing is it's those two characters just lampooning everything they possibly can about famous dramatic theater, not Broadway stuff, even though it is Oh Hello on Broadway.
Yeah,
they're not going after the big musicals and all that. They're going after famous dramatic stuff like Neil Simon and Neil LaBute and Sam Shepard, all that kinds of stuff. And they're just taking all these funny little jabs at it. So it's if you really love the theater, it's got a lot of great jokes in there for you. And then it's John Mulaney and Nick Kroll. So it's if you like those guys, you're gonna like it.
So to explain to the audience that the listeners that don't know, so there was a sketch on the Nick Kroll show, which was on Comedy Central, where Nick Kroll, who's kind of funny, and John Mulaney, who's very funny, play these old Jewish New Yorkers who have a public access show.
Right.
Where they have some guest on there and they interview him for 30 seconds.
Yeah.
And then invariably, they always do it in a diner, and invariably a giant tuna sandwich shows up as a
giant
prank?
Is an understatement. Yeah, they have somebody, they order them a tuna sandwich, and then when it gets there, it's got too much tuna. And it's very silly, but it's funny. And Oh Hello is that on steroids and on Broadway, quite frankly. If I'm speaking honestly, it is indeed produced and performed on Broadway.
I would almost rather watch a 2-hour movie with Bobby Bottle Service, another character from the Kroll show,
or the Lizzes.
Or the Lizzes.
I would watch 2
That's
hours.
the other thing, is I could maybe watch
problem.
2 hours of the... Oh my God. Partially because I love Jenny Slate. She's so funny. She is so freaking funny.
Yeah.
And she's doing every animated movie now too, because she's got such a great voice. Have you ever seen that? She does a YouTube video where she plays a shell. A shell.
Oh yeah, what's that called?
It's not Sheldon, is it?
No, it's something the Shell.
Yeah.
It's
Marcel the Shell.
Marcel the Shell.
Marcel the Shell. If you guys haven't seen Marcel the Shell, there's 3 videos. Look them up. It's fantastic. Yeah, so
Jenny Slate.
I don't know if I could watch 2 hours of those old guys.
Well, like I said, if you really like theater, then there's plenty of jokes in there for you. There's a real funny joke towards the end where Nick Kroll as Gil Faizan is walking off stage out into the audience, and he just starts randomly commenting on audience members, and he spots these two kids, and you hear him go, "What are you? How old are you? 16. What about you? 14? Did you understand anything we just fucking did up here?" It's great. It's a great joke.
Funny. It'd be really great if they did like a everybody check under your seats, and there were tuna sandwiches under the seats.
I don't think they do that, but I almost think they do a check under your seats thing. But now I can't remember.
But wouldn't it be funny if it was tuna?
Oh, it'd be gross if it was tuna.
Yeah.
That's too much tuna.
So okay, so real quick, let's do Alien Covenant, and then we're gonna wrap it up.
Wrapping it on up.
Okay, so Alien Covenant. Also, another movie I didn't think was as bad as some people are making it out to be. I didn't really enjoy it that much, though.
Understandable.
You were talking about how it retroactively makes Prometheus better.
Yes.
Why do you think it does that? Also, spoiler alerts. We probably will have spoilers in this.
Well, it shows you what a certain character does after the very end of Prometheus, which is pretty cool.
But that isn't. I don't think that makes Prometheus better. Do you? Like having that be vague, I don't think necessarily hurt the film.
No, I think it's much better that they showed you specifically what he did, which we won't spoil it.
I mean, I just said there'd be spoilers. You can if you want.
All right.
I mean, you don't have to. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I'm not going to spoil it, but I think that scene showing what he does is pretty awesome. That's pretty awesome. And then here's the thing.
Excuse me.
Alien.
Yeah.
Is like outstanding, right?
Yeah.
It's a sci-fi horror movie. And it's rad.
Yeah.
Aliens.
A war film.
Is outstanding. It's a sci-fi war film that's a sequel to a horror movie, and it's outstanding.
Yeah.
Nothing within that franchise is ever going to top parts 1 and 2.
Not
it just
Alien Resurrection?
Happen. Not Alien Resurrection, I'm sad to say, as much as I love Winona Ryder. But hang on, though. So nothing involving the xenomorph alien is ever going to be better than those first 2 movies. So you might as well just enjoy the ride and enjoy the fact that they're taking this movie, about these aliens, but there's really a more sinister enemy involved. It's just the alien is the monster that's really, tearing everying to shreds.
The Frankenstein's monster.
Yeah. And so I think that the fact that they're playing with that is pretty cool. And somebody said, I think it might have been Jimmy Pardo on Never Not Funny, said something along the lines of like, within this movie, there is like an incredible short film that takes place between 2 characters. And if you could see just that without it being wrapped in the alien monster movie, that should win Oscars, frankly. But then you've got all this alien stuff and spaceship stuff and, can we get down close enough to the planet to rescue him? And, this guy's got to take a leak and he kicks this thing and he doesn't even bother taking a leak. He says he's got to take a leak and he just goes and sits on a stump and then and blah, blah, blah. And, so all that stuff, I enjoyed the heck out of it, but, there was some idiot plot stuff going on. It happens.
I don't think the movie should be better than Aliens.
It can't be anyway.
Hypothetically, even if it could be, I don't think it should be.
H-I-G-H, pathetically, man. I'm making joint fingers.
Okay.
Hypothetically, hypothetically.
All right. Steve, we get it. We get it!
That was the sound of a token.
Can I make my point now?
Of course you can make your point.
All right. Even if it could be, I don't think it should be. Could be and should be are very different.
Of course.
And it's the same thing. I'm going to compare it to the Star Wars prequels. Those movies shouldn't be better than the original trilogy. Those movies...
And they aren't.
And they're definitely not. But even if they could have been, they shouldn't have been. You need to, when you're building a series, you have to build up. You can't like start awesome and then go down. That's not what you want to do.
True.
So you want to start at a really keep it really, really simple, which is what I think in some ways that's sort of kind of hurt Prometheus. Not just that it was simple, but that it was almost so simple that like some of the subtext, like all the stuff about like a woman's body and like making decisions for women. And like all of that subtext was kind of gone because it was almost too simple and people missed it.
Of course, because people are stupid. You hear that, listeners?
And likewise, I feel like Alien Covenant was too simple in that we've seen it before. Like, I never felt worried about any of the characters because I already knew they were all dead. So, like, I just was, like, honestly, I sat in the theater. I was kind of bored. I was like, I remember thinking to myself, this is, like, about 2/3 of the way through the film. I was like, this is kind of boring. I mean, I want it to be good and there's cool things happening, but, like, I don't care about anybody. Like,
the recorder scene? That was incredible.
Okay.
When one guy's holding the recorder and the other guy's working the notes for him.
Incredible, but
it's an incredible scene.
I liked the woman who's the main character. I can't remember her name.
Waterston, a man.
Catherine Waterston.
Waterston from
that's not right.
Inherent Vice.
That's not right, is it?
It's definitely Waterston.
Katie Waterston? No.
I keep wanting to say Samantha Waterston, but that's just because I'm thinking of veteran actor Sam Waterston.
Catherine Waterston. It was Catherine.
Catherine with a C or a K?
With a K.
Catherine Waterston, view the right thing as fans of you.
Huh. She looks so different with short hair. So I liked her character. I was attached. It's the one character that you're kind of attached to because you feel for her right away.
For sure. My favorite character was her husband.
But like yeah, James Franco.
Hell yeah. Guy's awesome.
Yeah.
Don't say it.
Okay.
That guy's just awesome.
He is awesome.
How many movies is this for Franco and McBride now? Don't answer that.
All right. So I'm like totally like confused about what I was going to say now.
Catherine Waterston.
I liked her. I identified with her. I felt for her, but I again knew that nothing good was going to come out of this, so I didn't really care.
Understandable. That's the danger of prequels too. I mean, the prequels have to get us to the movies that already exist.
They didn't do that. They didn't do that in Prometheus though. But
they sort of did.
Retroactively.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
she gets away at the end of Prometheus. That's the thing. Is like Prometheus has this like sense of like who knows what's next.
Yeah.
And the thing that I kind of didn't like about this is they like closed that chapter. They were like,
yeah, that's true.
There you go. That's what happened next.
Now Alien 1 is next. Could there be anything in between? Do they leave?
Yeah, I mean there could be. Because that's not the ship that they.
Yeah, I suppose.
How do they get the alien on their ship in Alien 1?
I always forget.
Don't they answer a distress call or something?
They go to answer a distress call, and then a face hugger, and then a chest burster.
But that's not the ship. But that's not. Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to rewatch Alien.
Oh, how great was the mother scene though? We've been waiting for what? For mother.
Yeah.
That was wonderful.
Yeah, I liked that. I liked. Surprisingly, I like Danny McBride, who I historically do not like at all.
No?
I don't find his shtick funny.
This is the end?
I find him very off-putting.
Eastbound and Down?
Nope, don't like it.
Drillbit Taylor?
I only saw it like on a plane, so I wasn't really paying attention. And it was like a Comedy Central, so it was like commercials and stuff. So I was flipping the channels.
Tropic Thunder?
No. Principals? No.
Or was that show called Vice Principals?
Vice Principals.
Vice Principals?
I don't find him funny. I think I understand the shtick. People are like, it's redneck, ha 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 ha. But like, I don't think that's funny. It's the same way that I don't think that something
this way.
Oh no. Something else that people find really funny is like Melissa McCarthy falling down. I don't think fat people falling down is very funny.
People love when fat people fall down.
I just don't think it's funny.
I fell down once.
How many times do we have to watch Melissa McCarthy fall down?
As many times as she's willing to do it, I guess.
No.
Hollywood's not going to stop, Wes.
After you do it a couple times, it's like, okay, let's move on.
They're not going to stop.
That's what made someone like John Candy a freaking genius.
John Candy falls down.
After a while, he stopped doing that kind of shtick. He was very subtle. his comedy became very, very subtle.
I mean,
and it became a lot less about his size and a lot more about like his reaction to everything around him. He was a genius.
John Candy was great.
There's not a lot of I'm hard pressed to think of a lot of like physical fat guy humor.
I'm looking at my watch because John Candy died at 44.
I know, it's sad.
And it occurs to me, I'm now closer to that age than I've ever been in my entire life, which is literally true every day.
Every day, yeah.
But still, yeah. I just watched Uncle Buck the other night, and I was like, damn it, man, I miss John Candy. And then I was like, how old was he when he passed away? And he was only 44, dude.
Yep.
That's crazy. But Uncle Buck, one of his later movies, he falls down. He humps a washing machine. What else did he do?
Where did he fall down? Did he slip on ice?
At the very end of the movie, he's listening at a door, and somebody kicks the other side of the door, and he goes flying back and lands on his back, and then sits up and asks a goofy question.
Somebody told me when Spy came out.
Yeah, Spy's funny.
I was like, I don't really have an interest in seeing it because I just think it's going to be a bunch of fat jokes. And somebody saw it
for sure.
No, somebody saw it. There's a lot. I ended up seeing it. There's the whole movie, the whole premise of the film is that it's funny because she's fat. That's the entire premise of that plot.
Yeah, but I mean, if she's willing to own it, then go for it. You know, I have to own my fatness as a funny man.
I don't think that is that funny. Here's my problem with it. It's tired and old. Like, let's move on to better comedy.
I mean, you can say that all you want, but Hollywood's not going to listen. What's sold then will sell tomorrow.
That's not true.
That's totally true.
We have talkies now.
This
year
it's like it's has seen Hollywood a fifth Ghostbusters and a fifth Pirates, for crying out loud. It's totally true.
Innovation in technology has always been for three things: war, the porn industry, and the entertainment field.
Yeah.
We have constantly pushed forward and innovated and changed styles and content throughout the history of film.
Right.
We can do better in comedy.
We can, but until somebody does and then also is successful with it, it's not going to change. I'm not saying we shouldn't try to change it.
Do better, Hollywood. That's all I'm saying. Do better, Hollywood.
I'm not saying we shouldn't try. I'm just saying, don't count those chickens before they hatch.
Chicken.
Wes is walking out of the room. I'm going to vamp while Wes...
I'm getting the bucket.
Moves around. Oh, he's getting the Muppet bucket to select our next movie. I'm very excited because he lets me select. Gonna jam my hand into the paper shreds. Gonna mix it around with my man hand. This is the Muppet Bucket song I just wrote. While Wes looks at me like an angry brother who's tired of his little brother's BS about the Muppet Bucket. I hold in my hand a single piece of paper, Wes.
Okay.
On this piece of paper is the title of a movie that has been recommended by our selective process for choosing movies for View the Right Thing. Placed in the Muppet Bucket to be randomly selected. What have we randomly selected today, Wes?
You tell me you rolled it.
I like this movie.
Okay. That means you've seen it and I have not.
Viggo Mortensen, Renee Zellweger, Ed Harris, and Jeremy Irons.
A history of Bridget Jones's violence.
Bridget Jones's violence. No, the movie is Appaloosa.
Appaloosa.
I love this movie.
Is it about horses?
I mean, there are definitely horses. This is a Western.
A breed of horses, right? Appaloosa?
I believe there are, yeah. It's a Western about friendships and loyalty and quite a few other things, but it's a cool Western.
Does it have dudes doing it?
With each other?
Like Brokeback Mountain?
Not that I remember, but maybe.
I've never seen that.
You've never seen Brokeback Mountain?
No.
I almost don't believe you.
All right.
Well, I wish I've
seen pieces of it. I haven't seen the whole thing.
I wish I didn't have to quit recording this podcast right now.
Yeah, it's time, though. It's been a long one. We kind of were all over the map on this one.
Yeah.
But it's okay. It's been a while.
Okay.
It's been a while for us. Hasn't necessarily been a while for the listeners because we've been releasing them pretty regularly, but for you and I, it's been a little while.
It's been a while, a song by Stained that people still listen to for some reason. Appaloosa. I'm excited about this one, man.
I'm excited that you're excited.
This is a cool movie. I kind of just want to dive into it right now, but you haven't seen it. That would be unfair.
Yeah, sorry.
So, Viewsters, if you're listening, get yourself a copy of Appaloosa.
Or rent it.
Rent it, stream it, find it, watch it.
Let's do something. Let's do something we've never done.
Yes, let's.
All right, I'm going to pull it up. My favorite site to get movies.
Voodoo?
Voodoo.
Oh, hello. It's not on Voodoo.
Oh, it's maybe not on here.
Appaloosa isn't on Voodoo? It's got to be somewhere, though.
It says no results found.
Well, check moviefilm.com.
Am I spelling it wrong?
APP.
I didn't do two
Or maybe
Ps.
just one P. I don't know.
I did one P.
Just check moviefilm.com.
Try
It'll tell you exactly
Ps,
where
my
to find
friend. Ed Harris directed it.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so check this out. You can rent it in standard def, which would be like your regular DVD.
Standard def.
For $2.99. You can rent it in high def, which would be like a Blu-ray.
Nice.
HDX for $3.99. You could buy it in standard for $9.99, or you could buy it in HDX for $13.99. So, some options there. Not very expensive to either own or to rent.
No.
I highly recommend Voodoo.
And it's a kick-A movie.
Voodoo's doing their 10th anniversary right now, and it's
10th?
awesome. Yeah. It's awesome. Every weekend they do 10-cent rentals.
What? That's awesome.
For certain movies.
Is Airborne on there?
I haven't seen it. And then they've been doing $5 HDX films that you own them at that point.
Whoa.
Now people might go, I don't want to have a collection of movies online, but here's the thing. You want to know the cool thing about one of the things I love about Voodoo?
Absolutely, I do.
You can download your movies.
Start over.
So not only can you stream them, you can just download them and keep them on a hard drive.
Nice.
If you want it.
Real nice.
They also have a feature where you can take your phone and scan your DVDs that you already own.
Oh, yeah.
And only pay like $2 to turn it into a digital version.
That's pretty radical.
Yeah. A little more expensive if it's like DVD going to high def.
Can you scan your VHS collection and do that? Or does it
I
have
don't
to be
know.
a DVD barcode? Did you see the picture I posted from my vacation bedroom?
I did. It was pretty cool.
It was magical, man. Like, I'm chilling. I go into the bedroom and it's teeny tiny. Like if I'm not laying on the bed, I'm standing and bumping into something, right?
Yeah.
And then I go to open the closet to put my bag in there, and it is just loaded with VHSs. And there was one little shelf of DVDs at the very bottom. But even though, like, I was like, I don't have time to watch all these movies while I'm here, and I don't even know if this place has a VHS player. But there was just something so, like, heartwarming about just being that close to so many movies in that moment.
That's what my closet used to look like.
It made me feel so great. Yeah?
Yeah.
That's what my closet in my mom's house used to look like. Actually, I've still got all my VHSs in my bedroom right now, but they're hidden, see?
You know, I worked for a long time at a Suncoast Video.
Nice! Oh, Suncoast was the jam. It was so jacked up, though.
And then in college, and after college, for a short while, I worked at Sam Goody, which is the same company.
Oh, yeah.
So I was still getting all those movies.
Suncoast was so cool, but their prices were insane. But 4 years at Blockbuster, 1 year at West Coast Video, a couple of months at 2020 Video here in LA.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, man.
Quick stop.
Quick stop. Isn't that from Clerks?
Yeah. Do you have Happy Scrappy Hero Pup?
Happy Scrappy.
All right.
Cool. Mini Trucker Magazine.
Yeah. Ooh, Navy SEALs. All right. We are done for this episode. Thank you guys for listening and bearing with us. I know we were kind of all over the map this episode, but we love you, and we love just movies in general, so we're going to do that on occasion.
Heck yeah, we are. Thank you for listening to View the Right Thing, and it's almost 4th of July. Watch Jaws, but also watch Appaloosa.
I can't believe I didn't talk about my other movie experience that I had last weekend. I'll save it for our next episode.
Okay.
I went and saw my favorite film. in the theater. But we'll talk about it. We'll leave that a mystery for now.
Keep in mind, Wes's favorite film is...
No, don't you do it. We'll keep it a mystery for now, and we will see you on the other side. Rest in peace, Anton Yelchin.
Oh.
Bon cinema.